my name is Sophie Panzer, and today I'm here to talk to you about Costa Del Mar. So, in the 1980s, a man named Ray Ferguson and a group of his friends were avid fishermen. They were constantly on the water, deep-sea fishing, fishing inshores and on flats, and they were unhappy with the way that their sunglasses were protecting their eyes. They felt like they couldn't see as much as they needed to while they were fishing. And so as a group, they sat down and they talked, and they realized they needed to come up with a lens and a frame that would work for fishermen as well as everyday use. So in 1983, Ray Ferguson and his friends on Ormond Beach, Florida, they decided they were going to found Costa Del Mar. In Spanish, that actually means, or in English from the Spanish translation, it means seacoast. They named all of their frames after fishermen's terms or fish, things like inlet, brine, or white tip. These original frames that they had about 7 frames to begin in about 1983, and they started at about $80 a pair with a polarized lens, which was crazy back then, and now every frame is upwards of $200. That is, within 34 years, a ridiculous amount of money to go up in. A wonderful thing about Costa is they are still made here in the US. Even though the lens technology of the polarized lens, which we will talk about later, came from places like Japan and places in Europe. They were huge over in there, and it didn't come to the US until about the 1980s. But even though it was a foreign idea, they developed technology that would be able to do the same thing, but here in America. So it created jobs in Florida as well as all over America selling sunglasses and making them. So it's an American-made company, which is amazing. It is currently headed out of Daytona, Florida. Every single frame that they offer is polarized. Now that is 63 frames that they offer as of 2017, with 7 different lens choices and over 73 different frame color choices. With this amount of choice, you can customize and change anything you wanted about a frame to make it your own personal frame. When I say it's polarized, I mean that every lens has 100% UV protection for your eyes. It's going to reduce the yellow light that comes through your sunglasses, and it's going to help stop those horizontal light waves from getting in that regular lenses do not stop. They actually do have a scratch-proof coating on top of it so that your lenses last for a longer time, and even if you do scratch them or break them, they do offer a lifetime warranty. So when I said that each lens is polarized, a lot of people don't truly understand what a polarized lens does. So a polarized lens is basically just a lens that is coated with this special chemical film that helps reduce glare. It helps you see more clearly, as well as protecting you from harmful UV light. The issues that this glare would cause would be it reduces your depth perception, as well as it distorts your vision and your color perception. So with a polarized lens, it's going to help you see the true color of things even with your sunglasses on, things that you wouldn't generally be able to see without a polarized lens. With a polarized lens, it's going to reduce your eye strain. It's also amazing for people with cataracts and people who have been through cataract surgery. So each, as I said earlier, they have 7 different lenses. I'm going to go over a couple of the different colors, and I have a couple of the frames here so that we can have a visual idea. The first 2 lenses that I'm going to talk about are gray base lenses, which means that when you look through the back of the glasses, you're going to see a gray tone, which is nice because it's going to darken everything as well as reducing the amount of light transmission that comes through. So the first lens we have here is a blue mirror lens. This is a reflective coated lens, so it does have this shiny material over it so that you can actually see your reflection in the glasses themselves. The blue mirror lens is actually the best for offshore fishing. So it's the best for in a situation where you're on open water with a lot of reflection from the sun coming down off of that water and shining into your eyes. It is only going to let about 10% of light transmission to come through, which is wonderful. That is one of the top lenses in the business today, not just with Costa, but with any lens at any company. The next gray base lens we have is actually just called a gray lens. This is a non-reflective lens, so you would be able to see through the lens. You'd be able to see the person's eyes behind here. This is a good lens for every day, for activities on the water as well as on land. It is good for a natural contrast, so it's going to kind of darken everything, but it's going to let you see those true colors as well. And this offers about 12% light transmission, so it's not much more than what the reflective lens is. So from here we're going to talk about the copper-based lenses. The first one that we have is going to be a green mirror. And then we're going to have a silver mirror and just a copper. All of these looking through are going to brighten the things up that you see, but they're also going to not allow that light transmission to come through. They are lit about the same amount as the gray base lenses, but it just kind of brightens everything up. So the green mirror we have is actually a reflective lens. It is good for fishing inshores and on flats, and it provides a very high contrast between colors. Like I said, it's going to brighten everything up, but it's still only going to let 10% of light transmission come through, which is the same as your blue mirror, which is a gray base. The next copper base lens we have is going to be a silver mirror. It is good for stream fishing, and it is probably the most versatile lens that Costa carries. It's good for cloudy days, it's good for everyday use. You can even wear these inside and you'll still be able to see, so it's really good for people who have really, really sensitive eyes. And it's only going to let about 12% light transmission, which is about the same as the gray base gray lens. The last copper base lens we have is just the plain copper, which is a non-reflective lens. So like I said, you'll be able to see a person's eye through it, but it does allow about 12% light transmission. This is the best lens for driving. So truckers, people who stay on the road a lot, would generally want to stick with a copper lens to see the true color of things, brightening all of those things up while still protecting the eyes with only 12% light transmission. The next option that Costa gives you is actually a choice between lenses. You can either do a glass lens or a poly lens. So they have a 580 glass lens, which is actually going to be the best lens that they offer now. It's also the most expensive. It does have a scratch-resistant film over it because, as you know, glass has a tendency to scratch, so they want to kind of counteract that by adding an additional scratch-resistant film over top. It will provide the best clarity for you. That is why it is generally believed to be the best lens. And it is a lighter weight glass versus the heavier glass that other competitors like Bowie Gym and Ray-Ban offer. The other lens they have is a 580p lens, which is a polycarbonate lens, which means that it has a bit of plastic mixed in with something similar to a glass material. These are a lot more lightweight than the glass lens. If you could actually feel the difference, you would feel that the poly lens is a lot lighter than the glass lens. The good thing about a poly lens is that it is impact resistant. If I were to drop both of these frames on the table, which I will not do because I would probably get fired, if I were to drop both of them, there's a possibility that the glass lens would do a spider web shatter throughout the lens. Whereas the polycarbonate, that is literally impossible. It might have a little bit of a scratch on it, but it is very impact resistant. There was one other lens that Costa offered when they first came out, which was a 400 glass. The 400 glass has kind of been faded out within the past 2 years in hopes that the 580 glass is a better technology. So the 580 actually blocks yellow light. It boosts the greens, the reds, and the blues, which helps give you that better color contrast. The probably most important thing about Costas is that they offer a lifetime warranty. So if anything happens to your frame, let's say with this frame here, we break off an arm, you can come and bring it back to your local sunglass store. They can send it back to Costa and get it repaired versus having to buy an entire new frame for $230. They understand that things happen and they want to back the sunglasses that they believe so much in. As I've said, they have 63 frames, but now they have branched out even to croquis to hold the glasses that you would be wearing, as well as hats, t-shirts, and many other small things like koozies and decals that help boost their marketing. It is an awesome company. They are wonderful to their customers. They treat all of their customers with respect as well as the employees that work for them. They really look out for their people. So I hope that I've given you enough information to make you love Costa as much as I and we do here at Sunglass Image. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your evening.